Remember this thing in show business happened.
This thing of ours.
When you didn't have to drive to a studio and work with the segment producer and have your bald spot covered and, wear free clothes that, Xenia is giving you. And then you had to go. And then you didn't have to do that anymore because you do a podcast from your house with a decent microphone.
Yep.
And now we're back on TV.
Yeah.
Without Silas, I appreciate that.
Agree. We keep talking about this, how I started this 5 years ago because Adam said, do a podcast. And I said, why would I do a podcast when I've been on TV for 30 years? We start doing it as a joke. It becomes big. Then they start to say, is it okay if we put cameras in there? And I said, fine. And then they said, is it okay if we occasionally do 5 a year in front of a live audience in big theaters because people like it? And I said, okay. And then they said, is it okay if we add a band? I said, you fuckers, we're right back.
And listen, we're going to need a warm-up comic.
It's going on NBC.
It's going to be on NBC at 12:35.
It is.
All right, I want to make sure I get you out of here because we have a lot to...
I got plenty of time.
I'll give you a ride home. I know where you live.
By the way, have you been to Conan's house?
Yes.
We have competitions in the neighborhood. Who has the longest house? You mean as you're driving up the street, which house takes the longest to drive past the start of the property line and the end of the property line?
And you guys each think it's your own?
I think you've got like 2.5 miles of property line.
I do. You do. A Cessna can land, and a Cessna has landed. Now
it used to be. Jerry Lewis used to live on the block.
Did he really?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
I won't. Are we on yet? So
No.
Okay. So I won't say what the address is. But at one point we were at because I saw this old thing and I ran. You meet Jerry Lewis and you think, first of all, that's a surreal experience. All into it. Hey Tom, my God, Jerry knows my name.
Isn't that crazy?
And I saw the bosom buds. And
why can't we use this?
You can. Go ahead. Okay. Go ahead. We're using it.
Okay.
And I said, is it true or not? Did you live in our neighborhood? And he said, the number of the house. And it's a brick, red brick white house. And it is almost as long as yours is. And I just think, because I saw this, he was really into like making home movies and stuff like that. And he used to do kooky things. And I saw this one thing. Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh drove up and did kooky things on their lawn as they were coming into a party at his house. So how's that for a neighborhood? Right?
He would
that
make films.
Yeah.
He would make films. I mean, going back to like the early 50s, he would make films with all of his friends.
That's right.
And, but I didn't realize he lived in our neighborhood.
Right there. And, he had a radio station and I think he had restaurants and stuff. He had a podcast for a while.
A true sign.
Very early version.
A true sign that it's over.
I was out once, and by the way, you find this thing. I was at like a thing. They were showing one of his movies and we all kind of like went in order to vet him, celebrate him a little bit. And someone got up, he had a question and answer, and somebody asked him about the video tap, the world famous video tap, because he was directing movie. He was one of the first guys to star in and direct his own movies. And he had to have a video tap, meaning that he was the first guy to put a TV monitor matching what the camera saw. So there was a cable coming from the camera and ran into a TV, and everybody thought, this is amazing. He said, it was, but I didn't tape. What do you mean? Well, I had no playback. I just had to look when I was doing the thing with the stuff, and it looks good, and now let's do it. But then I do it, and I couldn't see it until the dailies. And that's fine. And I said, actually, now, if he had invented videotape, he would have gotten the Nobel Prize along with everything else. He would have got it all. Jerry Lewis. How did we get talking about Jerry Lewis?
What do you mean, how did we? You.
Yeah.
Because it's the neighborhood.
Yes, we live in this neighborhood, and I take a hike. I sometimes go by your property.
Right.
I've thought about, there's a wall.
Yes.
I think I could get over that wall.
You know what? You could so tall. You might be able to crawl through the razor wire if you know how to do that.
You scared the hell out of me. I was on a bike with a friend of mine.
Right.
I won't get into the exact, but taking a bike ride with a good friend of mine, Brad, and we're going up this. Yeah, maybe. And Brad Paisley. suddenly this car, like kind of a Jeep SUV thing, starts coming, and all of a sudden the window comes down, and you lean out the window and start yelling at me.
I yelled at
and
you.
you start doing some bit, which was really funny, doing a bit, and then my friend is like, "That was Tom."
It happens all the time.
But you know what? It was like laughing, like your head just came out of a
knock knock.
Yeah, or it was like Batman when he was climbing up the side of a building and suddenly a window would open and it's
it's Jerry Lewis.
It's Jerry Lewis. It's Tom Hanks. I thought I live the most amazing life where a darkened window can come down and a goofy Tom Hanks can pop out and yell at me when I'm on a bike.
But think about everybody else, because on that there's a lot of people that come there to walk that it's a long line, and they're all kind of like bicycle weenie geeks, guys with $6,000 mountain bikes saying on your left, as they're going up and coming down. But they're going to see you. I mean, you're as tall as Big Bird, for crying out loud, and they're going to say, "I believe I saw Conan O'Brien struggling up the hill."
Have you heard that halfway up that ridge, there's this place that apparently in the late 30s, you probably know about.
Absolutely
this, right?
True.
In the late 30s, some people who were pro-Hitler and pro what the Nazis were doing.
So Nazis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
They,
as a lay historian, I'll come in and get the record straight.
Okay.
When the time
they were
comes.
members of the party.
There were people who were sympathetic to that cause in the late 30s before America was in the war. And they purchased a piece of land. Am I correct?
You are correct, sir.
That they thought would be a place that the Fuhrer would like to hang when and if he comes to America, maybe because he conquered it. I don't know the whole story. Do you know the story?
It was owned by the German Bund. And there was a period of time, a German Bund. The Bund was essentially, hey, we're all Germans, we all live America, let's form a fraternal organizations like other nationalities do, And I'm going to hope that before they found out just how bad Hitler was, but I swear I have seen photographs of like a 4th of July in the 1930s up there with a fireworks thing, and they would have, no lie, a picture of the founding fathers and a picture of Adolf Hitler, an American flag and a Nazi flag, the German Nazi flag. And they were saying, our country is coming back, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. And I just hope that maybe you can get away with that in 1930, but it continued along. And in fact, it is now a scout camp, or it had been for a while. And I have gone there to scout a location, and there is like the main lodge, there's tents and stuff like that. But there is a main lodge that honestly looks like, a German Alpine chalet.
Yeah. That
all you have to do is paint it red, put a couple of Haken cruisers on there, and you are right back in Naziville, USA.
So this is a place that in our neighborhood, you go up there's this big hill and
Did I say Jerry Lewis also lived in this neighborhood?
Yeah.
And why did you choose to live here, sir?
Listen, we have these meetings that are none of your business.
Right.
No, but this is my story, which is that that was something I've always heard, and then occasionally you'll find that it mentioned that this piece of land lives, and that maybe, and some people get the story. They get it wrong, and they think that Hitler spent time there, like in his board shorts, looking out at the Pacific.
He did come out for pilot season 1 year, and he needed a place to stay.
6 pilots, didn't get one of them.
No, not a one.
It was almost a 7th friend, but anyway. But I'm with my friend once, my same friend Brad that you saw. I'm grinding up that hill on our bikes to just try and get to this. It's very steep in parts. We're grinding along, and then we're these 2 women, like blonde, 22-year-old, I swear to God, wearing like bikini tops. And they just looked like they were just come from a sorority party. They flag us down like they were in trouble. And I said, what is it? And they went, do you know where the Hitler camp is?
Yeah, there you go.
Where's the Hitler camp?
About that.
And I went, oh, ladies. Well, all right.
Wow.
Like, God, he's
still pulling in the trim, that Addy Hitler. Oh, my God.
Still pulling in the trim?
I know what?
Jesus!
wow.
Gourley!
Jesus, Matt.
Wow.
Come on.
Now we
God.
are making light of a very, very dark period, without a doubt.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, you don't want to say, yeah. Come on up. How do you get to Conan's house? Oh well, if you've gone too far if you hit the Hitler camp.
Right.
Make a U-turn at the Hitler camp.
When you get to the Mussolini cul-de-sac,
Yeah.
take a left.
Yeah. Right past a tiny triangle. But yeah, that's up there, and yeah.
The I'm going to switch gears here a little bit,
Let's see how you do this.
and I want to talk about the Japanese and Jerry Lewis and 1944. You had incredible success at SNL and with all of your different characters. And what's interesting, and I know this has got to be a powerful theme for you, but I want to just go back to your childhood because it's so defining when you were ill. You were seriously, seriously ill.
Yeah.
And I believe you had leukemia, a form of leukemia.
Yeah.
And you'd think that would not fuel comedy.
Right.
But even at the time that you were sick, as a child, your family tried to find humor in it. Is that right?
Yes. We would joke about it all the time, and we would particularly joke about all the like perks we got from it. And we would like use it for,
Like what perks?
Well,
Wow, free chemo. Try and get that at a party.
well, there's that.
Well, I know. I'm sorry.
No. I it's just like, it's like whenever you go through a difficult time, people are so nice to you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So maybe I'm messed up that I focus on that. But like I was in high school and I could like come into school late all the time. Like I just came into school whenever I wanted. We had such a strict attendance woman. And a lot of times it was because, you know, I wanted to sleep in, especially like when, you know, later on in my treatment when things were like, you know, I was starting to feel better and stuff. I just could like come in whenever I wanted. I didn't have to do gym class.
Oh my God. That is.
You guys aren't reacting
sweet.
as big as I thought.
No, but
that one hit me.
No.
core.
Trust me,
That's
you were
big.
talking to three people who were very happy to miss gym class.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what is more humiliating in high school than gym class? And you have to change into the outfit, and it's so...
And they want you to climb up a rope, and your arms don't work. This is what I remember.
Yeah.
I couldn't climb up that rope.
Yeah, I just was like, I don't want to start doing this. And they were like, okay. What else? Like, I didn't have to... Someone asked me to homecoming, and I said, well, I have chemo that weekend.
Was this someone you didn't want to go
It was
to?
someone I didn't want to go with.
Okay.
And then I actually ended up going with someone else.
Oh my God!
How
did that person
they
feel?
Said, I said they changed.
I can't make it. I've got
they
chemo.
changed the weekend of my chemo.
But I'm still not
it
going
doesn't
with
make
you.
you a good person. Having cancer doesn't make you a good person.
Hey, if we can get one moral out of today's episode, that
Wait,
okay.
so there's no upside to cancer then, is what I'm hearing? Okay.
I'd like to think I mostly didn't use it for stuff like that, but either way, I also always really liked attention.
Yes,
and it's a great way to get it. It's like when you're a kid and you see like someone come on the bus and they have a broken leg and you're like, well, it must be nice to be them. You know, like everyone's going to sign their cast now.
Okay, I can exactly relate to what you're talking about because when I was in the fourth grade, as anyone who knows anything about me knows, I'm one of six, and we were born, weeks apart and jammed in together. And I was kind of in the middle, and I felt very anonymous, and really was thinking, how do I get attention? It'd be nice to get some attention. One day in the fourth grade, it was in December. I remember it was right near my brother's birthday. I went to school, and we had gym class, and that day was wrestling. And as a joke, someone came running up and jumped on me, and I fell backwards to put my arm back, and it bent the wrong way.
Whoa.
And I really broke my elbow badly. They were like, well, you're going to the nurse. And I go to the nurse, and my arm won't work, and I know something's wrong. And they call my mom, and my mom comes rushing to school. I'm like, my mom is coming to school?
She loves me?
Yeah, she loves me? And And I could remember the nurse on the phone saying, "It's Conan." No, not Luke. No, that's Neil you're thinking of. No, it's not Justin. No, Kate is a girl. No, it's not Jane either. No, it's okay. And she was like, got it. But she came, they take me to the hospital. They gave me a drug that made me super high. I remember, like, I don't know what this is, but this is I suddenly have no inhibitions. And then they put me in a big cast. My mom took me home. They put me like on a couch in like the center of the house. And I remembered all my brothers and sisters coming home and coming up to me to see how I was, and everybody talking about me. And I was told, you don't have to go to school, and it's almost Christmas vacation anyway, so you're going to have multiple weeks off from school. And then I remembered my mom, because it was before Christmas, she went and got one of the toys that, quote, Santa was going to give me and gave it to me ahead of time. Oh. And I was sitting there thinking, this is fucking awesome.
That is great.
And then walking around with a big cast and a girl I had a crush on being like, are you okay? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I may lose the arm. And that's just a broken arm. That's not leukemia. That's not cancer.
Yeah.
But I understand there is a weird, I don't know, power that can come from it.
Totally. And, you know, obviously that was like, I feel like sort of focusing on that stuff helped me get through that time, but we really had fun with it.
Yeah. You play Shirley Chisholm, just this great historic character, and you get an Emmy for that as well.
Wild.
And it's just, and like I say, it's when it starts to rain, it really pours, you know? But it's a great feeling that, I mean, to me, because so much of this book is about your mom and getting strength from your mom and perspective from your mom and reading your mom's journals and going back and reading after she passed her journals. And there's a part where you're reading her journal and she's writing in her journal. You didn't know this at the time, but man, I'm really worried about so I don't know that she's going to make it. And she would, leave food, put food in your refrigerator.
Yeah, like after I'd moved, I'm reading these true story, like reading these journals, and it's like she's in there just like constantly, like this path that I've chosen. She's like praying. The thing I think she's prayed every night. Like she's like, I pray every night. And ending her journal, she's like, that Uzo, I'm worried about Uzo. She never calls me unless she needs money. She called today and I gave her what I had, and it's like she's stressed out. She would come up the first time she came when I moved to New York. And I didn't have anything. I was waiting tables. I didn't have anything in my fridge. And she was like, "What? Where is your food?" And I was like, I just eat at work. It's fine. Like they give a pre-meal. I don't know if any of you guys waited tables, like pre-meal. They give you pre-meal there. I was like, they give me pre-meal there. And so I eat that. And, in the morning, I just have like a little oatmeal or like a couple of hard-boiled eggs. It's fine. And right before she's leaving, she took me to the Stop and Shop. So I was in Queens. She took me to the Stop and Shop over there in Sunnyside, on the Astoria line, which is a big grocery store. And she was like, get whatever you want. And I was like, no, I'm fine. And she's like, whatever you want. And she like would come and either bring food from home or like help me stock up my fridge. Cause she was like, I can't do much, but I can do this, and would just like, contribute in that way. And I'm forever grateful. My mom was an amazing lady. I just need to go on record as having said that she was not a good mother. She was an excellent mother.
Well, I mean, that's such a big part of this book, which is so nice, is talking about that. You said your mom was not a tall woman.
No.
She's like 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
But she seemed really tall to you.
Huge. She was a giant to me my whole life. In my child memory, and probably because I'm like 2 feet, but I'm like looking up at her, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't think it was until well adulthood that I realized it was like, you're like, not only are you not tall, you're actually short. Like, you're small. But she
was wearing incredibly like high platform. She got these Elton John shoes.
That's right.
At the Elton John estate sale.
That's right. She wore them to intimidate. Took them off when we were older. She was that. And like, but she was like spunky and like had such a big personality. And like, I was trying to be, I'm the big personality too in my house, and like, would talk and be like, no, we need to do it this way. And my mom's like number one comment to me all the time was, Uzo, there's only one captain on this ship. And you're looking at her. That's like her go-to line.
What's interesting is you talk about so much, people always think they need to change or mold themselves to make it, when sometimes, for example, you like the way that you said you were interested in changing your name when you were younger. You were interested, or you had people tell you early on in acting, you've got this gap in your teeth. You should probably do something about that. And there are a lot of people who go through these cosmetic changes to try and fit into something that someone else thinks they should fit into. Yeah. But now that whole idea just seems crazy.
It does. And I can't imagine if I had done that. Frankly, for me, there were so many pictures of me when I look at myself as a small kid. I just did not smile because I was so conscious of my gap. I'd do this like, closed mouth smile. My mom would always be like, smile, smile, smile. And then my senior year, I had a photographer for my senior yearbook portrait. You get your senior pictures. It's like the fancy one.
Yep.
Right. So we had like the outside guy come and like do the like yearbook picture. And, like every time we'd be talking, I'd be smiling. And then as soon as he picked up the camera to shoot, I'd close my mouth and not smile. And he's like, why do you keep doing that? What's that about? And I was like, I don't like my smile. And he was like, really? I think you have a beautiful smile. Oh, and nice. I didn't smile in that picture, but I did immediately the rest of that school year start smiling. And even now, when I walk on carpets and I'm supposed to give, like face or whatever, I find myself wanting to smile. And it's because I want to like make up for these lost smiles, you know? And I feel like it's such an identifier for who I am. And, like if I changed that, like that's so much of my ancestry in this space between my teeth. It's who I am. It's the smile my aunt has. It's the smile my great aunt had, it's a smile so many of my cousins have. We call it my mother's maiden name, Anyoku Gap, and I would have taken a piece of myself away. Yeah. And now I just wear it proudly. And when asked to take it out, in the beginning of my career, I had a choice. And there was an early part of my life when I wanted to really fit in and thought taking away the parts of me that made me unique would make me better. Yep. And at this stage of my life, when I was approached with this idea of closing my gap, I really understood that the parts of myself that made me unique are actually what make me better. Yeah. Yeah. And it's just...
It takes a little bit of living to figure that out.
For sure.
Especially when you're... I had this experience where Mike Wallace, the great, like journalist and host of 60, kind of one of the lead hosts of 60 Minutes, he was on our show once, and this has been much commented on. I'm not just white, I am translucent. I go beyond white. I'm a whole other thing. And a side effect of one of that is that I have this vein underneath my eye that you can kind of see. And I remembered I was doing talking to the great Mike Wallace, and we're having this interview, and then I say, okay, well, we'll take a break. We have more with Mike Wallace right after this. Bam, and Mike Wallace just takes his finger and he reaches over and he puts it on the vein underneath my eye, and he said, "What are you going to do about that?" Now, and the thing is, he wasn't being mean.
Yes, he was.
Well, no. I have a lot of respect for Mike Wallace, and he was very nice to me. What he was kind of doing was just saying, like, as a guy who'd been in broadcasting since the 1940s or 50s, he was kind of just saying, oh yeah, that's something you're gonna, because I was early in my career. He was probably saying like, oh yeah, so what's what do we do about that? Is there a kind of makeup you can put on or something? Or can you get rid of it? And I thought, well, it is, I think it's supplying blood to my brain. So I could just see going to a surgeon and having it removed. And I'm just like, welcome to the whole section of the speaking part of my occipital lobe is gone. But man, his eyes look good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, I just remember thinking
lobotomy.
there are all these things about me. I was, I had a weird name growing up and looked a little different and wasn't sure where I fit in. I'm like an Irish Catholic kid, but I don't really like sports. And I like to read and I have a weird brain. And I remember just thinking like, I don't know where I fit into the whole thing. But then later on, those things become, oh, thank God. I mean, I'd still like to fix the vein, but
What are you going to do about that?
I'm having it removed tomorrow. But I know it's interesting that there are many different forms that can take for lots of different people who are listening, that if you can write it out, those things, and I think unfortunately, social media and also the rise of all these different cosmetic surgeries or injections people can get I see so many people that have clearly like injected their lips, injected their faces, done things, and they just look like everybody else now. And I think, well, that's too bad.
I love character.
Yeah.
I really do. Like, I love those little touches, whether it's in the face, in the hair, in the mouth, whatever, that just makes you stand in a different way. And I actually think those things make you more interesting to look at in a beautiful way, you know, personally. That's my thoughts on it. But
well, I disagree.
well,
I think you're out of your mind. You're from Medfield, Massachusetts.
Yes.
And I'm thinking we probably have similarities in the way that we grew up in Massachusetts.
Sure.
And I'm also imagining big differences. And you talk about this in your book. You're growing up in Medfield, Mass.
Yes.
And are you the only Black student in your area, or did you feel like you were an alien that had dropped onto another planet, or did you feel comfortable?
At times, an alien, and then at times comfortable. I mean, first of all, yes. Outside of my siblings, yes. I was like the only one, There were 2 others in my entire school, So there was a level of it that was comfortable because that's all I knew having grown up there, I was used to it. But then there's moments that happen as you mature and you grow and you start to notice like the absence of you, that you're wondering, why am I the only person here? Like, where is everybody else? Like, how come I only see them on the weekends when I go to these Ebo meetings with my family? Or just even like in smaller things, I would watch. I remember there was one year Disney, the Wonderful World of Disney, like on Sundays would do their movies, and they had done an adaptation of Pollyanna, an all-Black adaptation called Polly, and it was with Felicia Rashad. It's amazing, by the way. If you've never seen it, I love it. I have it on DVD to this day. It's called Polly with Felicia Rashad, Keisha Knight Pulliam, and Bryan Adams, who was like my first like crush. And I remember getting excited because my friends at school, we'd always watch all the like movies, whatever.
Sure, yeah.
And then I came one day ready to talk about Polly and nobody had seen it.
Oh,
yeah.
And I was like, how did you miss this genius work that just came, but that just wasn't on the radar. So those were the moments where you started to notice the gaps.
Yeah.
I noticed the gaps, or like talking about hair or braids, or moments where people, I'd have like my hair out and then have braids the next day and they'd be like, how did your hair grow so fast? And I was like, I don't know how, I just realized that there was a different understanding of culture.
You talk in the book, which congratulations, by the way, it's an amazing story.
Thank you.
And it's a beautiful story because you're really writing this. It feels like it's your story, but it's also a tribute to your mom, who passed in 2020.
Yes.
One of the first things that I clocked when I was reading the book is your mom she died too early, but she got to see all your success.
That's right.
And to me, that's the big blessing.
Yes.
She got to see your crazy success because it was a long road for you. But I was watching or noticing in the early part of the book, you're talking about how you were uncomfortable with your name because people had a hard time pronouncing it. So you told your mom you were thinking of changing it to Zoe?
Zoe.
Yeah. And your mom had this genius response.
She had, and she was ready. You know, I was in the kitchen. I had a teacher and friend, you know, who just could never say it right. And it was like so, tough. And you just want to blend in when you're a kid. You don't want to like stand out for anything. I didn't anyway, when I was little. And I remember coming home and she's in the kitchen and I was like, Mommy. And she's like, And I was like, can you call me Zoe? And she was cooking and she stopped and she's like, why? And I was like, because they can't say Ozamaka. And without skipping a beat, my mother was like, if they can learn to say Tchaikovsky and Dostoevsky and Michelangelo, and they can learn to say Ozamaka. And she just went back to cooking. And it was like the end of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
like,
mic drop.
Mic drop. A total mic drop.
Yeah.
And she had been through it before. I have an older sibling, my older sister. Her name is Oni. She wanted to be called Tony, and like,
Well, that's just confusing.
the same.
Hey, Tony.
And she'd already said the same thing to her,
Yeah.
And what she was really just like establishing right there at the door was who you are is okay, is enough, and everybody better get used to it.
Good. God bless.
Yeah.
You were a good student, great athlete. You were interested, you very serious figure skater.
Yes.
For years and years.
Yes.
And you were interested in going to the Olympics and you had a lot of ability. And then your parents come to you and say, we can't afford this anymore.
Yeah. I'm one of 5 kids. And, we had a pretty humble upbringing. And already there were 2 of my siblings were in college. And it was figure skating is a very, very expensive sport for people who don't know. There's skates and ice time and coaches fees, choreography, costumes, travel, adds up. And, my parents were doing the best they could, to keep up. But as the hours were growing, and just in that year when I had to stop, my coach at the time had said, she actually needs to skate more, put in more hours, and, we can see where this goes. And at that point, my parents were already, pretty stretched thin. And they were like, my mom sat me down at a competition and she was like, this is going to be the last one. This will be the last one. She's like, we can't afford it anymore. This is like a college education, we don't have it. And it was tough at the time, as a kid, you don't have that same understanding. And I didn't have the level of understanding or maybe even appreciation on some level of what had already been expensed and sacrificed for me. But when I look back on it now and think about it, I'm like, wow, there was skating, there was violin, there was cello, there was ballet, there was hockey. There were so many things that my parents saw when it came to this America, as my mom would always say, that as opportunities and exposures and experiences that just did not exist, wholly did not exist for them as kids, that it was like, wow, they did everything they could. They stretched it to the line to try and make it happen for their kids and just give them a taste, even if they couldn't serve you the whole meal. They wanted to give you just a taste of what the possibility of America.
Also, I have this theory that good work is never wasted.
Yes.
So if you, in this case, at a young age for many years, work very hard on figure skating and the training and the dedication and the repetitive repetitive honing of a certain skill over and over and over again is an amazing thing to learn. And that's going to be with you. Clearly, you take that because that doesn't work out, but then you get interested in theater and you apply that to acting. And so all hard work is preparation for something else. It doesn't, people get too literal and think, oh, that was all wasted because you're not a professional, you're not an Olympic figure skating champion.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
That all went into something else.
100,000%. Like having done track and field as well and figure skated like for so long, which are individual sports for the most part, like self-motivating is something that I've learned since I'm 5, you know what I mean? Good head talk, being able to like talk my head into doing something that I want to achieve, because you have to do that for the 3.5, 4 minutes on the ice. You have to develop a good head talk. You have to develop a good head talk when you're on the blocks running track to get your mind in the place it needs to be to achieve. And listen, guess what? If that's not true for me, I have a daughter now. I can shove these dreams onto her. Joking. I'm joking. Kidding, sort of. No.
Not really. You just be a total tiger mom.
Yes. Hello, my name is Triumph, the insult comic dog, and I'm very proud to be Mark Maron's friend. Very proud indeed. How have you been? You look good.
I'm feeling neurotic. I've been feeling a little neurotic lately.
Are we good?
We're good.
Are we good?
We're good.
That's his catchphrase. I love the guy. No, wait a minute. You're not Mark Maron.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm Conan. My name's Conan.
Conan O'Brien. Yes. The guy I carried on my back for how many years?
It was at least 10. It was a decade.
It was about 10.
It was about 10.
Yeah. I peaked around 2009. Let me see here. Okay,
6.
let me change my note. 6? Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Give me 9. At least give me 9.
Okay, 2009.
If you average between 6 and the Wiener Circle sketch, it comes out to 2009.
Very nice. Okay.
Starting over. My name is Triumph, the insult comic dog, and I'm proud to be Conan O'Brien's friend. And like most of his friends, I'm not real. Pachum! You see, because everybody pretend. No, Conan, honestly, I'm one of those people. I am one of those people who gets to, I've been around, I've known this guy for years. I'm one of those people who gets to proudly say that I knew you at the very beginning, and here I am at what is clearly the end. No, it's great. No, you got the podcast, and now look at you. You're on satellite radio. Satellite radio, the wave of the past. Sirius XM, the abandoned mall of the entertainment industry. No, it all makes total sense. It's like that old saying, why get your milk for free when you could rent the cow for $21.99 a month? Serious subscription, yes. No, I kid. I really do kid. No, Conan O'Brien needs a friend. What a great title. I just have to ask, why start the show now instead of in middle school when it could have made a difference? Imagine having friends back then.
I know.
Imagine what it would have been like. No, I do love the new show. I love, the banter and the way you've managed. I am so impressed. The way you've managed to abuse your staff in a very kind of way that the audience thinks is ironic is just very impressive. So impressive. No, listen, folks, he's a complicated man. Complicated man. The comedian with a dark side. You're like Pagliacci, the clown. And that's just for how much makeup you have on. Seriously, this guy, Conan's in the makeup chair longer than Jim Carrey as the Grinch. No, I kid. You haven't aged. You've grown. You've evolved. Yes. Back when Conan started, guys, he would nervously talk over all his guests. But here it is 30 years later, and now he talks over them with total confidence. No, I love this man. Conan gave me a career. He gave me a career back then. He helped me grow up. He also helped me through some very hard times. Like when I walked in on him naked in his dressing room. Red pubes.
Copper.
Copper. Well, close enough.
Yeah.
It's like staring into the face of Raggedy Andy. Anyway, on a happier note, Sona.
Oh,
Everyone loves Sona, the pride of little Armenia. You know, I think I might be part Armenian or Pomeranian. Either way, I have a hairy back. I kid. That's a stereotype.
Terrible.
That is an unfair stereotype. Not all Armenians have hairy backs. There's Armenian toddlers up to 6 months. No hair. Let's be honest, though. All of us owe Conan so much. Conan made me a star. Conan made Sona a star. And Conan made Matt somewhat recognizable in the Glendale Public Library. Seriously, he can't walk into that library without at least one person wondering where they know him from. All right. Honestly. No offense. Love everyone in this room. Even the gray-haired guy in the back. You're all, I'm so honored to be here and so honored to be on this incredible podcast. For me to poop on!
Oh, wow. I have to say, this is going to be a shock to people, but I don't think I've seen you whenever we've done that.
All the times we've done it?
All the times we've done it, I look at the puppet, and what I see is the top of your curly hair.
Yes.
From the very beginning, I
Right.
wouldn't see you. So to see you, it was even the same with the clutch cargos. I
Right.
wouldn't see you. I would see just the
Right.
lips. But right now, watching you
The
do
sausage.
it was kind of like a revelation to me. And also,
Seeing what? How much I enjoy it? Or-
well, how much you enjoy. Well, I always knew how much you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But
From
that
the
was
giggling, from
I
the
think-
incessant giggling, yes.
because just that's crazy to me that I haven't seen you.
That
do
is so weird. Yeah, that is
because I'm
funny.
always
Everybody
now,
else has.
now Triumph, please,
Yes.
but to see you
Right,
do
I'm
it.
always behind you.
Yeah, it kind of was like there's no Santa Claus now. It's like,
You've ruined it for the children.
We go a long way back.
We do.
I hung on. Oh, wow, you fixing your hair. I like that.
Oh my
Ooh.
God, you are so distracted.
I know I'm so distracted.
Yeah, look at you. You know what? We're gonna end this interview, and you're gonna look at me. I'm taking my glasses off, and I
God
want
damn
you.
it. Why'd you do that?
I want you to look in
Man,
my
why'd
eyes.
you do that?
Look at me. I just took my glasses off. Look at me and deal with me. I'm right here. It's not about them. It's about you and me. You and me, when we retire from comedy, we're gonna live together.
You want to? Yeah.
You want to do that?
I want to do that.
Do you want to live with
I
me?
want it done.
The two of us together in an apartment.
I want it done. But
Okay.
then you're probably going to go after my Walmart money.
Well, I'd like a piece of it.
No, I'm not sharing that with no one.
Okay.
But, Conan,
Yeah.
what was I going to say just now before you distracted me?
You were going to say, Conan, you're the best, you're the funniest, and I love you more than I've ever loved anyone else in this world.
Absolutely.
You said it just like I wrote it.
Absolutely.
Tracy, I love you. I really do.
I love you more,
and
Conan.
And
And you know what the best thing about me and you?
What?
We're always going to be friends. Being with you, you taught me a lot. And I was comfortable because you were a writer on SNL.
Mm-hmm.
So you are literally my alumni.
That's true.
Literally.
It's like we were in the Army together at different times, but yeah, I think everyone at SNL feels
I knew
that
what
way.
the drill was.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here now.
All right, I'm going to hang out with you for the rest of the day. What are we doing?
Just hanging.
Okay.
Whatever. We go to Times Square. We just hang out.
I don't want to go to Times Square.
Well, my boy runs the Big Apple Circus. We can go over there and watch him walk to a high wire. It doesn't matter.
I think people get creeped out if you and I are hanging around the Big Apple Circus.
All right. We could go to Benny Hanna's.
Oh, I love Benihana's.
I know Benny. I went to high school with Benny. I know Benny. I know Ben. Yo, B, come here.
Did you
How
teach him to light stuff on fire? Was that you?
That was me. Choo-choo train and all that?
Yeah.
I gave him that technique.
All right. Tracy Morgan, I'm going to, I hate to let you go, but I got to let you go because
Right
you
on.
have other things to do. But
I'll be back. As
Yeah.
long as you're doing this, I'll be back.
I will talk to you anytime.
And I have a lot of stuff to talk about.
And you know, I'll tell you, I will talk to you anytime. I will learn very little. Most of what you say is not true, But you also...
But you don't talk to everybody.
No, I don't.
You just don't.
I don't.
And everybody ain't doing this show.
No. You're a good man. We're shaking hands right now.
I love you, Conan.
I love you too, man. You got in this famous accident, terrible accident, and you were really, really in bad shape. What did the doctor tell you?
No, my lawyer told me this, Ben Morelli. He said, the two biggest accidents in the world was yours and Princess Diana's. That was Walmart. At the time, Walmart was the third biggest corporation in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Apple, Mobile, Exxon, Apple, and Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's the fourth because of Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I'm out there on the turnpike looking for an Amazon truck now.
Wait, you're trying to get hit by an Amazon truck?
I got my beach chair and I just wait. Amazon, I'm trying to go big.
So let me picture this. You're sitting on the side of the highway in a beach chair. You got your champagne.
For the right size. If I get an 18-wheeler Amazon, I'm paid for life. I'm a billionaire. If I survive it, I'm a billionaire. If I survive it, I'm a billionaire.
Okay, so, and then your doctor, I know you went right to your lawyer, but I tried to go to your medical condition first and then your legal condition. I love how I say, you were like, forget what the doctor said.
Listen,
my lawyer came in.
Bones heal. But when you got traumatic brain injury, that's when you mess with somebody's mind.
Yeah.
So when I came back, I didn't even know how to eat. I didn't. They had to teach me how to eat. I remember all of that like it was yesterday. I'll never forget it. I had to walk. I had to learn how to sit down. I had to learn how to do a lot of things. I was really bad. Really bad.
Did you think you would perform again?
No. I was afraid. I was scared. I remember being home in my wheelchair watching the 40th anniversary, crying.
40th anniversary of SNL?
Very afraid and crying, especially when Alec and Tina gave that speech about me.
Mm-hmm.
I just broke down. I remember before the 40th, we were talking about what we were going to wear, me and my wife, the lawyers. We were talking about what we were going to wear and all that. Then he went home. Then he came back the next day and said, "We're not going." My wife woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning and said, "Y'all gonna do what?" "No, y'all not." All they need to do is see Tracy Morgan with his pretty wife, waving, smiling. There ain't nothing wrong with him.
Oh, I see. Your lawyer didn't want you to look like you were too healthy.
I was bad. He didn't want me to be there, period. Fuck Walmart. He didn't want me there like that.
Right.
Nobody needs to see you like this.
Right.
So he said to me, "You want to go via satellite?" I said, "No, I don't want to be a part of it then. Since I can't be there, no."
Yeah.
Just went black.
So then you end up hosting.
My daughter was only 10 months, so she was just learning how to walk.
Right.
But she was scared of me when I first came home. I stayed in the bed for 2 weeks. I don't even remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed in the bed for 2 weeks. And then my daughter would come to me because she was scared of the wheelchair.
Yeah.
And that really hurt me. And whoa. She learned how to walk at 14 months. And when I seen her take a few steps, I got out the wheelchair and my wife screaming, "No, no, no." And I took my first 2 steps.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my daughter learned how to walk together.
Wow.
That was my baby.
And
she's my best co-star ever. She's all in the last OG. She's through the whole season. My best co-star ever.
How do you get back on stage after something like that? How do you host Saturday Night Live?
I remember when I first went back on stage after the accident, I was hosting Saturday Night Live. And we were at rehearsals.
Mm-hmm.
And then that night, I decided, let's go to the cellar. And my boy was like, "What?" I said, "Let's go to the cellar. Let's go to the cellar." And I grabbed the mic. I remember. And it felt so good just to be welcomed back. It really did. And that day, I didn't think I was ever going to touch the microphone again. I did.
You had real doubt that people...
I didn't think I was going to walk again.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I was ever going to walk again.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. And I just fought. I fought to come out the coma. I see my daughter in a coma say, "Daddy, come back." She was only 10 months old. And I fought and I came out the coma. Then I just wanted to be better. I wanted to be better in my life. Mm-hmm. As a better person, a better human being to others. And that's all I wanted to be. I know he spared my life for a reason. He spared my life for a reason. So now I give back to those who are less fortunate. I give out food. I just gave out, like a month ago, we just gave out, 1,000 turkeys with the fixings. And I'm partnered with Food Banks of America, and now Amazon is on board. And I'm giving out $1,000 to 5 families and $40,000 to any organization. And that's what I'm doing December 16th. I'll be doing that, and that's my mission. I'd rather be a good man than a funny man any day. I don't give a fuck about that. Now, when it comes to being a good person, I'm building my house, Conan, and I don't build my house on a bridge because life is just a bridge. I'm building my house on the other side of the bridge, so when I enter his kingdom, I got somewhere to live. And my door's always open to you because you are my brother in comedy. You are my comrade. Because when me and you together out there, we know how to do it. We do it together. I'm not doing this shit by myself. And I know that. I know whenever I came on your show, I wasn't going to be by myself. I know once I get into a thing, you went right with me. And it turned out to be beautiful. It didn't matter. Even when there wasn't no audience. When we did it at my house and I'm in front of the Shark Tank, me and you did beautiful. You know how to be funny with me.
I don't think it's about celebrities either. I think it's just about other people that know how to do it. So if I'm... And you're the same way. If wherever I am, if I'm in the bottom of a coal mine and I bump into somebody who's got that thing, I just want to be funny with them. To me,
but
celebrity
if I'm in the bottom of a coal mine and we trapped in there, I'm gonna turn my light helmet on, my light click, and he's gonna be crying up to late. We getting you. We in here. We stuck. We getting you.
You're not. No, we're gonna do comedy down there.
I'm getting him pregnant.
If you're trapped at the bottom of a mine
and
you're trapped, you're going to get the other guy pregnant,
and there's no way to get out. Oh, he's done. He's done. Ain't no
Why did you go there?
Ain't no women in here.
We were in the bottom of a mine.
That's where it's going to stay, at the bottom of that mine. Whatever happens in the trap mine stays in the trap mine.
I thought we had a really inspirational thing going. You were in tears just a few minutes ago, and now you're getting a guy pregnant at the bottom of a mine.
Yes, that's how quick it happens. That mine switched to that. We trapped in the mine. We trapped in the mine. You done. I was crying 1 minute, and now we getting it on.
You're talking about that feeling of there are all these years where you're saying, "Hey, I'm Tracy Ellis Ross. I know I'm really good," and then there's that moment. Well, hold on, maybe you weren't saying that. I was going around saying, "Hey, I'm Tracy Ellis Ross. I'm really good." People would say, "I think you're mentally ill," and there's some gender confusion. But no, I could see there are years where you think you have something to offer. And it seems like that part takes forever. But then
you look back.
Then you look back later on and it all kind of happened the way maybe was going to happen. I don't know. Maybe that's too nice a view of it.
I don't know. I mean, the thing that I find fascinating is how long it felt while it was happening. And when you look back, how fast it was. Because, when you're 51, like I remember as a kid that 3 months for summer break seemed like an eternity.
Oh my God, yeah.
It was like 3 months? Like, what am I going to do for 3 months? And then there was like no plan and it was like horrible. And now like 3 months is such a short amount of time.
Right.
And so there's a sense of that. Like even during the pandemic, it felt like an eternity. And now time is just skipping along and everyone has COVID again. That's great.
But talk to kids too. I mean, it felt like an eternity to us and we're grown-ass adults. I think for kids, that felt like
it was their lifetime.
15 years. Yeah. And I remember talking to, it was when you could still go back, you could start to go back to a restaurant and people were in different sections, but if you sat outside, but you didn't have to wear a mask. And I remember going to this one restaurant and the waitress coming out and she was very young. She was about, I don't know, maybe she was like 20, 21. And she seemed really down. And I was asking her, what's the problem? And she said, well, I really love music and I'll never see a live concert again.
Oh.
And she thought
it was
that this was the end, that this was forever because at her age, it did feel like, well, that's it. And I I was saying, no. Let me tell you something.
You'll be back.
Yes, it's coming back. This will happen. It's going to reappear. But her perspective was,
so
this will not happen again.
Which I think is, I mean, I do think I didn't walk around thinking, what did you say, that I was good? What was it? Tracy Ellis Ross and I'm good?
You must have known that you had something really good to offer. No?
I hoped I did.
Huh.
And I think it took me a long time to realize that I did. I knew I was something, but I didn't know what I had to, you know what I mean?
Sure.
I mean, you have to have a certain amount of confidence to lean into this business. But I think a lot of the things and the roadblocks that I hit gave me enough doubt that it was like, am I nuts here? And then now, you look back, I don't know. I mean, it's such an interesting thing because I don't know that I believe it every day now.
Right.
I know who I am as a person. I know who, I'm my worth as a human being. But I think that's why, even doing that Lucy sketch was I hadn't acted since I finished Candy Cane Lane last March. So almost a year, strikes, all these things. And I hadn't done that thing. And I have I have a beauty company, a beauty brand that's doing incredibly well.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a businesswoman for the last year. I do speaking engagements, and that's a big way that I pay for other parts of who I am. And I hadn't done that thing. And I got off that stage and I was like, oh, God, I love this so much. And I went to the Governor's Awards this year, and Mel Brooks was being honored, and they showed his reel with Gene Wilder and Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick got up there and did Broadway singing thing, and I'm like, this is the stuff lights me up. I get like a kid that's just like, oh my God, is that a star? And so it's definitely something in me that I love. It lights me up. Whether I was good at it or not, I didn't totally know. And I don't know that I have any interest in investing in whether I'm that good at it or not, as long as I'm happy doing it.
I think there has to be doubt. I just always think there has to be.
I would prefer to be a person with a little doubt than a person who has too much confidence. Some people I'm like, but you're wrong.
Yeah. But also when I watch television and I see most talking heads, they're 100% sure about everything they're saying. Most politicians are 100% sure what they're saying. And I think, can't we get back to having respect for people who say, it's difficult. This is, and I find things to be, I never think things are a sure thing. Anything I'm connected with, I'm always worried. I hope it goes well.
Don't you think that leans you towards doing your best and continuing to try?
Question it.
And also, I do think that the death of a career is when you think you know everything.
Yeah.
When you think when you're not teachable. I don't know, the death of a human experience. To stay curious and teachable is kind of the thing that keeps you growing, keeps you moving, keeps you connected to other people, keeps you being one among many and not just this singular thing.
Right.
Hi, my name is Tracy Ellis Ross, and I feel delighted about being Conan O'Brien's friend.
That was very sweet.
It was.
I mean, look, you put some extra on it, which could betray insincerity.
It could, but not in my book.
Okay. So you're telling me that it was sincere. That's nice.
It was, well, should I do another take?
No. Everyone, I like to make everyone so self-conscious they want multiple takes. You know what I love? I love when this is your second time on the podcast.
Yeah, but now I get to be in the padded room with you.
Exactly. This is the nice room, the really good room that we hadn't built before. But I'll tell you something. You came in here and such a ray of sunshine. You're wearing, seriously, your personality. Whenever I'm around you, I feel like I'm having really good, expensive coffee. My heart starts to beat faster. An hour from now, I'll have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, come on.
But in a good way.
My real middle name is Tracy Joy. Tracy Joy Silberstein is my name.
Really?
Yeah. And I cannot drink coffee or eat sugar. I do the sugar thing, but I had a cup of coffee once in high school, took 2 sips. It was in exams. We were in the gym. And I, 30 seconds later I was like, what is happening? What is happening? And I felt like my entire soul went up to the ceiling, slapped itself up there, Velcroed itself. And I was like, how will I do this exam? I've never had coffee since.
So, but the thing is, you don't need it because you came in here. And first of all, you came into the studio first. I'm following you and I just hear laughter and everyone's in a good mood. Then I come in, things quickly settle.
Yeah. Everybody agreed.
Everybody's
agreed.
like, okay. Yeah,
but it's out of respect.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Deference.
Such gravitas. But no, you always have terrific energy.
Oh,
you really
that's
do.
very
Like you
nice.
emanate terrific. And that was true all your life, I'm guessing.
I think so. I'm surprised it's happening now because I am not sleeping well. And so, but I seem to have, I'm glad to hear that though.
But for good reason, too. You got a call.
I got the call. I got a
this
call this morning.
that
Yeah.
you're in an Oscar-nominated film.
Yeah, I feel really jazzed about that.
American Fiction.
American Fiction. I feel very proud to be in this film. And we got 5 Oscar nominations today. And the men who play my brothers in the movie, Sterling K. Brown and Jeffrey Wright, both got nominated supporting and lead actor. And they say you're only as good as your scene partner.
Oh. Yes.
So it's mine.
Yeah.
You elevate.
Yeah.
Those are your Oscars.
Those are my nominations, and
Yes.
I feel good about it. About my work.
Yes, you should.
Have you seen the film?
I have not seen the film yet. I have not seen the film yet, but I've heard terrific things about
I'm
it.
very proud to be in this film. It's a really lovely, hilarious, and also like as an artist or anyone in the industry, like you'll be like, oh, this is good. But it's also a family comedy. At the core, it's a story about a family.
It's so now we were talking about this because I am not in this section of show business. I don't even know if I'm in any section of show business
I was
anymore.
like, what is it? Is that the way they do it? They section it out?
Well, they did. Early on, they said, you will never be Oscar nominated. I'm just fascinated by the whole idea of you get a call in the morning and it's like Christmas or something, you know?
It is like Christmas. I mean, I woke up. It's happened before, like when I was nominated for an Emmy and things like that. Like you turn your phone on. The best is if you cannot remember. That is the best. So it's a surprise. When you remember, it's like a nightmare. You can't sleep. You're like, it's like Christmas morning. Like when on Christmas, you would like wake up so early and your parents are like, go back to bed. It's dark outside. They're like, we haven't put the gifts out yet. But this was a nice surprise. I turned my phone on and I was like, what's happening? Why are there so many texts?
That's nice.
Yeah,
it's
it was
nice
really
to kind of not know. I like to be surprised by good news. Whenever I expect good news, it doesn't come.
Or
it just doesn't.
When it comes, even if it's good news, it doesn't quite match up to your imagination.
Right.
And you're like, oh, that was nice, but not what I wanted.
I like how you got really quiet there.
What do they call this?
ASMR.
No, that's so annoying.
Yeah, but I like this now. Really? I like this. I like that people.
Does it make you sleep?
No, it just calms me down. Like when people are cooking and they're chopping.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that people listening in their cars right now are leaning over to turn up the volume, taking their eye off the road.
And it's like, no, it's not you, it's us. You're doing fine. You're driving fine. Your ears are fine. Don't go to the doctor.
Actually, go to the doctor.
Go to the doctor. And then maybe they'll call you in the morning. They'll text you and they'll just say, are you alive? And hopefully you'll answer.
Yeah. So this is a good day for you.
It's a good day.
But I get the feeling you got a lot of good days. You know, things are
things
are humming along pretty well for you.
You know what a friend of mine said? She said, you know, you're a human having a pretty pleasurable experience. And I said, you know what? That is very true. It's a nice way to kind of frame it. It's a mixed bag. Some days have a lot of, mixed things in them.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly, I can't complain. I've really liked getting older.
You like getting older.
I do like getting older.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you on that. I do too.
It's much better. I wouldn't go back to my 20s if you paid me.
I can see why there are people who are amazing athletes and they feel sad about the loss of their athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
I got them beat because I was never a good athlete.
Yeah.
And also, I look at pictures of me when I was young and I wasn't hideous, but also I didn't stop traffic. So nothing, people weren't like, I gotta ride that horse.
nuh-uh. Pick a different phrase.
I know. What?
Just no. I right. That's no.
So I was waiting for some woman to say that to me, and they never did because it's not an expression.
Well, try it in ASMR though. I gotta ride that horse.
No, it doesn't make it better.
She said in full voice.
I disagree.
Nope.
Yeah.
No one ever said I gotta break me off a chunk of Conan.
Oh God! He's now using Kit Kat commercials.
I don't know.
By the way, are we all of the age that we knew the Peppermint Patty commercials? Because
Kit bar.
that was the best when he went skiing when he broke open the Peppermint Patty.
Oh yes.
Oh, and then yes,
Mm-hmm.
we all watched the same TV.
Yeah,
because
we did then.
Because there were 3 channels.
Yeah.
Now I don't want young people listening. Like, enough already, old man. But there were 3 stations.
And you had to wake up before you went to bed.
And it snowed so much it wasn't even snow.
That was
What? What does that
amazing.
mean?
The rain was dry. When you took a bath, it was the shower. That's what I said to someone the other day. I said, if you don't know when the 90s were, they were before.
I did have a thing where I told my kids the other day that once there were so few, there were only 3 channels or something, and then there was one like UHF station. There was literally nothing on, but sometimes,
snow.
but yeah, and sometimes there was a channel that you couldn't get. So the only thing that came in that we could get was a Catholic mass.
Did you watch
sat
it?
there like
You would watch
watching
it?
it just because it came in, just because it came in. Something you couldn't drag us to. We were like, well, maybe when he eats that wafer, something will happen.
Just sitting there in silence.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of a cool chalice. I wonder if anything's going to happen to that chalice. It's sort of like Raiders of the Lost Ark. But there was just nothing on, you know?
And then back to, what would happen then, you would turn on the TV and it would snow. It was snow.
Yes, just
you would
snow.
just get snow.
Yeah.
And you were lucky if you got lines.
Yeah.
The lines meant something might come in. There might be a show coming in.
And if you move the antenna around.
Yeah, put some tinfoil on there.
You worked with all these directors, Spielberg.
More than once.
Yeah. But you've worked with all these iconic directors and Ron Howard and Zemeckis. And I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And Nora Ephron.
Worked with her 3 times.
You've gotten to a point where, is it possible for you, Tom Hanks, to be intimidated by a director on the set, but is that going to happen now?
The first 3 days are 3 days of terror because it's a combination of everybody else who is there, and also just on the 3rd day you realize no matter what the movie is, you realize I should have said no. There just should have been something wrong with it. I don't know. Because here we are. The intimidate. I will look. I've done this long enough, so I now am aware that I intimidate other people. Because you show up and then somebody said, "Okay, I'm ready. I'll tell you this story. Okay, here's a show business story. We are shooting perhaps the most scary, intense, truly scary, intense, real life scene in Captain Phillips. Mm-hmm. We are honestly, we're overweight, old, middle-aged guys who are going to be taken over by these pirates. And we have never met the guys who play the pirates. We don't know who they are. All we know is that they are coming, because the way Paul Greengrass shot that, he had cameras on us and cameras on the 4 guys, Barkov and Abdul and Big B, Little B, all the guys. And we have never met them. And they are firing automatic blanks, machine guns. We hear all this stuff that's going on, and we don't see anything until the camera outside the bridge of the Maersk, Alabama. We see the camera backing up with the guys pulling the cable, and then 4 of the scariest human beings I have ever met come in, and they are screaming at us, they are slapping us, they are hitting us, they are pushing it down, and they're holding. They're real guns, they're holding them in our faces, screaming at us. And it was, honestly, we are all bug-eyed with some form of terror. Even though we know it's a movie, that is removed because guess what? We all went there. All
Yeah,
right. So
yeah.
we're all there. The initial scene went on for about 20 minutes because Paul does this thing where he has a secondary and third cameras that don't start shooting until later on. So film is always rolling, and then one camera will go quickly reload and then join back in the scene. So this is
You've
going
got to stay in that space.
We are right there because the camera's on us and it's working. So 4 of the skinniest, scariest looking guys, their eyes were all bloodshot. They all had this teeth. They were all built like wires. They had muscles like rope. They're dressed in rags and they're holding AK-47s on us and they're screaming at us. And it went on and 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 on. Relatively unrehearsed. When it was finally done, Paul says, all right, okay, all right, that went well. Why don't we, and well, we're all like this. And we said, why don't, if we can, what I'd like to do is just take it back and come back in. I said, okay, yeah, all right. Okay, good. And then one of the actors, Mahat was his name. Mahat says, I can't believe I'm working with Forrest Gump.
He just tried to kill you.
So a countenance, right, comes along with the whole bit. And once we got that done, we were just guys making a movie. It was fantastic. But that's an example of, there was a moment where you have to do all this suspension of the reality of what it is, and all you can do is go there.
The only thing I have that is that I can relate to that's a little similar is for years, occasionally we would have a band on like Slipknot for the first time. Guys, with skulls, and they would come out, or a band would come out and they were literally like blood capsules out of the mouth and fierce. And the song is just like, and then I'd come out and I'd say, we'll take a break, death kill, murder baby. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. And I would always be a little intimidated because I'm in a suit.
Yeah.
I'm the late night host. I'm the game show host. And I'm just saying, okay, we'll take a break. And these are the guys that are from Manchester.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. And the person would always go, just lovely meeting you. I really enjoy. And it's just got such a nice sensibility. And you're like,
Slipknot,
I can't handle that. I can't handle the psychic break.
This is why so many of us go stark raving nuts.
Yeah.
Because that surrealistic divide between why you are there and what are you creating it's too malleable after a while.
Yes.
And yet it starts and it finishes within the wink of an eye. It's that type of thing where the massacre is over and cut. And all the dead guys start getting up and moving around, and you move on and you get the other shot. It's. I wish we could just keep it all secret, like the Coca-Cola formula. I wish we didn't have to remember. But I don't watch movies that I'm in because they haven't changed since I saw them, so I know how they end. Right. But every now and again, like you're blowing through the grid or something like that, and a minute comes on or a scene comes on. And what I remember is what happened just before we shot that scene. That's all I can recall. I look at it. I don't remember doing the scene per se, but I said, "Oh, it was cloudy that day," and I dropped a script in a mud puddle, and then that's all.
And then I
can
had some
recall.
flan.
Yeah,
and then it was time to
Yeah,
go.
what did we have? Oh, you know what? Somebody made Reuben sandwiches that day. That was really great. Oh, I remember craft service made Reuben sandwiches that day. Yeah, and I think it was Annie in the accountant department's birthday, and so we all sang "Happy Birthday" in the catering tent tour.
There you go.
There you go. That was that day.
Just before we started the podcast, we were chatting and you were talking about how both of us having highs and lows in our career. And I was thinking, I know what you're talking about, Tom, but no one thinks that about you. I think you have the career.
Well, let me just, I printed up my IMDb.
Okay.
Now, you notice I'm almost to 100 films here, right?
Yeah.
I'm getting up there, but I'm going to say.
Really crinkly paper.
I'm going to say, well, come out of the printer. I'm going to say, see it out all these. I'm going to say 6 of these are pretty damn good. The rest of them are checkered. It's all a checkered career.
Well, no one here is buying it. Nobody's thinking about the time when you were down and out because I don't think it exists. I don't think that's ever existed.
Oh, well, okay. First of all, everybody wakes up at 3:00 in the morning, sometimes splashes cold water on their face and asks this question of the zeitgeist: what is happening to me? Why can't I rest? Why am I tormented and haunted? Yet again.
That's your mattress, I think. Yeah.
But, okay. Look, without a doubt, I really dig my job, and I go into everything with an insane amount of enthusiasm and faith in the
famously so,
faith in the collaborative process. And it is I don't want to go overuse sports analogy, but it really is the baseball analogy. Ted Williams hit 400 for one season of his baseball career. And that's about the best you can do. If you're somewhere between 282 and, 3 something, that they will put you in the Hall of Fame. And the thing that there is nobody starts a movie and says one of these two things. This ain't going to work. No one says that on the 3rd day of shooting.
Right.
We have made a terrible mistake. None of this is actually things. All these peoples that are getting paid are liars. They are no one says this.
Right.
Nor does anybody say on the 3rd day of shooting, we're in clover, boys.
Well, that's because it's not 1940. This thing's aces, fellas.
Hold on to your quarters, Jasper. No one says this. Roger Spottiswoode, who is about as facile a filmmaker as we were shooting Turner and Hooch, and this was back when I really put an import on the reports. You wanted how's it going? Great. Oh, we saw this and it was great and that was great and everything's great. And how about that scene and how that was it? And Roger Spottiswoode came back from looking at dailies one day at lunch, and I said, Roger is English, and I said, hey, how were the dailies? And he said, they were not half bad. And that's all you can shoot for. How was it? Well, I don't know. Maybe I hope it'll cut. That's all you can hope for. And so at the end of the day, the thing that is now an advantage of is I talk about this sometimes with people who are as old as I am. We got into this. I'm going to tell you a story about technology. Speaking of 1-inch VHS cassettes, in between the 2 years of the Bosom Buds, the VHS machine was invented. The first season was in 1980. And in 1981, you could go to Mad Muntz's or, something, and for $4,000 buy a video cassette machine, right? Mm-hmm. And that altered absolutely everything. So as of episode, 22 of Kip and Hendry's adventures in Bosom Buddies, everything has since been rentalable, and it sits there forever. So I have had and now, of course, you can watch a movie any damn time you want to. I can't tell you how often I've been somewhere and someone will come up to me and say, excuse me, Mr. Hanks? Yeah. Oh, hi. How are you? I just want to say, your films have always been a great salvage for me. I've really enjoyed many times. I've turned to you, and I was home at one point and came across and saw a film that you made in 1993 that really spoke to me. You played a Air Force pilot in World War II. In Israel, and I had never heard of the film before. I didn't know it existed, but I really enjoyed it. And I said, oh, that movie was called Every Time We Say Goodbye. It was directed by Moshe Mizrahi, and I made it for about 8 weeks in Jerusalem long before the Intifada began. Very good, sir. And I also enjoyed Toy Story very, very much. So all of this stuff lives. All of this stuff lives. And now what happened is that time has become one of the metrics for how these things matter, right?
Yes.
In the day, I mean, look, it was just a fist fight. It was every movie that came out. Are you going to make the playoffs or not? And guess what? No, kid. You're 2-12 and you ain't going nowhere. Or you got a shot. It used to be you had these Rubicons that you crossed when you came down. First of all, do you love it or not? That's the first thing. Hey, I read this thing. I love it. I can't get it out of my head. Yes. Okay. You have crossed the Rubicon. You have crossed the Rubicon, right? The next Rubicon you cross is when the movie is completely done, a year and a half later, and you see it for the first time. And you might like it, or it doesn't matter if it works or not. You look at it and say, hey, I think we acquitted ourselves pretty good. That's Rubicon number 2. Then the critics weigh in, Rubicon number 3, and that's always up, down. We hate it. We like it. This is the worst thing. Oh, hey. Oh, hi, Tom. I saw you in a movie. Oh, did you? Yeah. It was cute.
Yeah.
That's when you ask the wife, hey, honey, could you take the revolver out of the glove box and hide it somewhere? Because I think...
this is Saving Private Ryan. I think is cute.
And so then, but then this other thing is how it does at the BO, how it does at the box office with a bona fide. Then a ton of time goes by when none of that stuff matters anymore, and the movie just exists exactly as it is, outside of loser-winner status, thumbs up, thumbs down. And that's when this stuff comes around, where it's like that this thing that didn't work back then kind of does work now, or just the opposite. A thing that was huge back then is a museum piece and doesn't really speak to anything.
That Thing You Do.
Oh, yeah.
You were disappointed when it came out, and it has this whole other life now.
It is.
It is this cult classic. Okay. But that's an example of...
Let me tell you something about these cocksuckers who write about movies. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a podcast.
My father writes about movies. And his name is Cocksucker. Somebody who wrote about it is that this is just, Tom Hanks has to stop hanging around with veterans of TV because this is just like the shot on TV and it's not much of anything, Mm-hmm. That same person then wrote about the cult classic, That Thing You Do. Same exact person. It's all you need is 20 years between now and then, and it ends up speaking somewhere. But that's the thing we all signed up for. That's that's the carnival. That's the contest. Right? The big question would be: you talked earlier about how you're hesitant to watch your own work. Sitting and watching this movie for you is watching you at 17, 67, and everything in between. Mm-hmm. Have you had that experience yet? Are you prepared for that experience?
I've seen just enough of it, and seeing me at that age, it has finally answered the question for me, which is no wonder I never got laid.
The original title of the film. Well,
I mean, I had a lot of energy, and I was loud, and I could make you laugh.
Well, you just describe anything. I've occasionally been forced to look at myself from 1990. Every day of my life was televised from 1993 up until about. And I'm not happy with any of it. And I always watch it, and I look at my wife, and I go, "Why?"
Well, so what we did actually have to examine this probably more than you ever do on a movie, because we had to literally go and we had technicians that were looking at our skin and stuff like that. But we also had to look at the timing and the cadence of what it is, because I don't know what the actual name of it, but there is a factor, I can't remember what it's called. We thought that we were speaking in a very realistic cadence. And then we would go watch a playback, and it was as slow as molasses being poured. It just took forever. But I would say it's like the cinematic time slip. It seems like it's fast, but it plays in real time. So that's one of the things we discovered about it that didn't make it any more fun to sit there and look at ourselves dressed up as we were.
It just occurred to me, I know that I've talked to you and you've several times where you've slipped into a Ron Howard impression. You've destroyed Robert Zemeckis' career.
And yet he comes back for more.
Is this happened is anyone who directs you, is liable to be impersonated by you?
Some are a little, some I guess are.
I don't even know what a Spielberg impression would be. I don't get a sense of him.
This would be, I don't care what you say. On every movie I've done, I think I've worked with Steven 5 times. Let's see, Ryan and The Terminal and Catch Me If You Can.
Bridge of Spies.
Yep. Is there another one in there? I can't recall. Is there another one in there? That's my IMDb. And he always does this thing. I wake up and I see, Steven uses the screenplays of Steven's movies are the most basic blueprints. They are not the Rosetta Stones. They are not like set down. So it'll come and there'll be a lot of dialogue and, you do this and explain this and you get there. And I'll go, they say, oh man, there's an awful lot of stuff in there. I think I'd like to cut that, and I'd like to cut that, and I'd like to cut that. And then I get to work and Steven will say, okay, here's the shot. We're going to start here, and the camera's going to be right here. We're going to be following you, and you guys will be saying all your stuff right there. I said, well, I was thinking that maybe we don't need all this. Oh, I don't care what you say. I now, the last couple of gigs, the last couple of gigs that I've had, I said, when everybody is in town, we did this on Bridge of Spies and also, but mostly just on Bridge of Spies. I said, look, we'll get together with all the guys. Oh, we did on the Post. We did the Post together. Did the same thing with the Post. Get everybody together and we'll read through some of the scenes and I'll just explain. Say, listen, everybody, there are some days that we will come to work and we will have all of this stuff memorized and we'll be hot. We will have read through it. We'll be prepared and we will get to this, to the stage and Steven will have done all that work for us. We don't have to do anything except inhabit the space because Steven is telling the story from the cinematic perspective where the camera is and what he's doing. It's not even going to matter. But then there'll be other times, my friends, when we will show up and we'll know it all, and we need to know it because we have to get there. When we shot the stuff on the Gleinica Bridge on Bridge of Spies, which was the real place where the spies were exchanged, crazy. We were freezing to death. It was very, very cold, and Steven came up to us and said, "Hey, I hope you guys know all your lines because I haven't the slightest idea how we're going to shoot this." And I just turned to all the guys and said, "What did I tell you?" And then he's the most malleable guy. Well, what if we stand here, Steven? What if we come out here? What if he comes out? Great. Oh, that's a great idea because they're not going to come. And then he's very excited about all that kind of stuff.
You had a moment on Forrest Gump. Of course, you're working with Robert Zemeckis. You're working with him on Forrest Gump. And you said you're sitting there on the bench and you just thought, is anyone going to watch
That's exactly right.
What did you say? Is anyone going to watch this? Is anyone going to care about this guy?
We had worked so hard, so much, and we were only about 40% through with the movie. We still had a ton of stuff that we had to do. We had shot 27 straight days in a row, which included helicopter rides to like places in America where Forrest runs across the country, with a beard, without a beard. We'd been all over the place. And I'm exhausted. I'm fried. And we've got like 36 hours to shoot this stuff in Cherokee Square in Savannah. And I'm there dressed, and we have a ton of actors that have come in. They're going to sit next to me on the bus bench. And we are trying to shoot so much that I said, Bob, there is no way my sad little brain can learn this much dialogue, because I've got a page and a page and a page and a page and a page, and that's just up to lunch. If you think I'm going to be word perfect on this, you're out of your mind. And don't worry about it, Tom. We'll just put it on cards like it's I Love Lucy. And we'll slide the cameras around so you don't want to have to get bottom.
Robert Zemeckis is a ventriloquist dummy.
We've worked together a lot, so I actually know. I know what that means now. I know what it means. And so we were doing it, and in all honesty, you do it twice and then you get it down, so it goes pretty fast. And we were midway through like a day. We shot all that stuff in a day, all the stuff on the thing. This
is you on the park bench, iconic. Yes.
Yeah, we shot it in a day, and at one point, I'm just, I'm good. What is this? I'm trying to read it. I said, guys, can you make the print a little bit better just for these first couple of takes, but then I'll get it down. Don't worry about it. And the other actors are coming in. You want to run this? Go like that. And at one point, Bob is sitting there next to me, and I said, I don't know, Bob. Anybody going to care about this guy dressed up in like this kooky ice cream suit sitting on this bench? saying stuff, is it going to cut together? Is it going to matter? Is it going to make any sense? And Bob, well, that's the thing about making movies, Tom. It's a minefield. It's just a fucking minefield. We don't know if we're sowing the seeds of our own destruction or not. And that is the truth of every single moment that you're standing in front of. Look, I made this movie that was altered, and I always say in years to come, we'll be talking about a movie called Cloud Atlas. I made it with the Wachowskis, and that was one of the most vibrant, loving, hardworking, magnificent thing. And when it came out, it was just like, hey, nice movie. Meanwhile, The Incredibles are, we got lost in the horse race. So all you can do is show up and go there. Everybody says, how'd you do that scene? Oh, I'll show you. I showed up that day and we all went there. Is there any trick to it? Yeah, here's the trick. Go there. And if that means you got to put yourself through some sort of psychological hell in order to get there, go there. Now, you might know this. You show up to work and you're going to do a convivial, happy, hilarious scene, right? Everything works great. And you know what happened the day before that? Your dog got hit by it. Every tragedy has happened to you 8 hours prior to show up and just be correct. Isn't it fun to be in love and shoot a montage where we're licking ice cream and we're holding hands and we're skipping stones and we're playing a beach ball and then we're dancing in a gazebo and it's on one of the worst days of your friggin' life. Right? Yeah. And then other days where you got to go and you have to go to a place that's incredibly dark and stormy and crazy. And all you did last night was laugh like crazy at the karaoke bar with the rest of the guys in the crew and said, guys, it's 2:00 in the morning. I love to sing another Elvis song, but I have to weep and cry at 8:00 in the morning. So I think we're going to go return. All you can do is go there no matter what, because guess what?
Hi, my name is Debbie Kamal Bell, and I feel insistent about being Conan O'Brien's friend.
That's the way.
Yeah.
I think was the last time I think you were cautiously optimistic. Insistent, I like that. You're demanding it.
We've evolved.
You kicked the door down.
I kicked the door. I'm not leaving without being your friend.
Yeah. All right.
I'll take all these people with me. No, I have sent you emails, and you respond to those emails, which is ahead of a lot of people. So I feel like that's
no. I have a very
Oh, so now I'm hearing you just respond to every email.
I just respond to everything.
I'm Nigerian princes.
I'm so tight. I am so tight with the Nigerian prince.
Fishing scams.
I didn't just give money. I then visited the Nigerian prince, and we hang a lot. He's a very nice person. It's terrible what happened
Subject
to him.
line is, I want to catfish you. You're like, sure, let's talk about this. How do we get this catfish going?
It was, I remember we were going back and forth on something, and then you, for some reason, sent me a picture of your apartment. And I was like, you need to clean.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? And then I
Yeah.
felt like I had invaded your space.
Yeah.
But it was very messy. I'm just saying,
it was.
you got to get that shit together.
First of all, I live in a house. I don't know why I got put in an apartment.
Yeah, wow.
I'm a grown man with children.
All I could see was
Well,
all I could see was a one room. So
yes. Well, I didn't go here. Let me show you every room in my house. I didn't.
Well, that's what I expected.
To be a completion. Let me show you the outside, every room.
I wanna see
Here's
everything.
my kids' rooms, all 3 of them. Here's my wife's room. Here's
Okay.
a closet. Here's some clothes. No, I didn't. I sent you. I forget what the reason was, but I'm sure it was a very good reason at the time. And I feel weird that you brought it up.
I'm glad I brought it up. I just, demonstrated to everyone 2 things: that we're capable of being very close, and you could be neater. Those are the 2 things I want to come out of this podcast.
Those 2 things are true. Those 2 things are true. That is true. Since then, we've moved into a smaller house, and now my area is the area of the house next to my side of the bed. That's the only area I get to do with what I want. So
Right.
So it makes it easier to clean up now.
Do you have any weapons in the house? That's what I want to know.
No, we don't have any weapons in the house.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah.
I'm not a weapons-
I have a 5-year-old who's very feral.
Okay, I want to.
What are you going to do? A home invasion? Why are you asking?
Well, I'm bringing this up for a reason. I'm bringing this up for a reason, and
Thank you.
I want to get your take on this, and
Okay.
tell me if I'm crazy or not.
Yes.
But this is friends with comedian actor Joel McHale. Joel McHale's running shtick with me is he always gives me weapons. Not guns or anything like that, but kind of interesting steampunky weapons that you can buy on the dark web.
One of those knives that does this. You get one of those.
All kinds of crazy things. And I always ended up like hiding them and putting them on a high shelf. And then I think it was my birthday last year. He gave me a crossbow and a real crossbow. So now I'm announcing this to the world, but when am I going to use a crossbow? And it's apparently like a very nice crossbow, and it's a box. It's completely unassembled in the box. So I just put the box way on this top shelf. Way. And when I say top shelf, I'm 6'4". How tall are you?
6'4".
Okay. I have to stand on a box to reach the top of this shelf and slide this box up there. So it's way up on top of this very, very high shelf in our garage. And it's facing the other way, so you can't even see what it is. And it's this box. And inside, it has a disassembled crossbow. And the other day, my wife is saying, I think it's just crazy that you have that thing in the garage. And I said, what? And she said, I mean, anyone breaks into our garage and there's a weapon right there. And I said, what? And then she said, someone could come in and they could use that crossbow against us. And I said, hold on a second. You're saying someone could come into our garage, see that box, investigate it, spend 40 minutes assembling a 14th century weapon, and then come up into our bedroom. And I said, and menace us? That's what I used. I said, menace us with a crossbow, and they've got 1 shot, and then I charge. I was like, okay, that part.
What?
You don't strike me as a charger.
I'm not a charger.
You strike me as a target.
No, you strike me as old school cowerer.
Yeah.
You're like an old school, not even new school cowerer.
I'm sorry. I misspoke. My wife would charge. I would flee.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Flee screaming, the money's in there.
I can always remarry. I would scream as I fled.
The insurance is in her name.
She has more shoes than you think. As I flee into the underbrush. Anyway, I just thought, no, that's not something that's not a, yes, if I had a handgun lying around, but I don't think that's a legitimate thing to be worried about. I want you to weigh in.
I just like the fact that the person breaks into the house. First of all, you have no security apparently, which is interesting. Breaks in the house.
I'd like to get that out there too.
Yeah,
I do
no
not.
Security, there's no alarm.
I don't believe in alarms and locks.
Yeah. So
they don't really work.
So they get to this high shelf. So they're like, so let's say it's like Victor Wembanyama breaks into your house. So he just reaches up and grabs it because he's 7'4".
It would have to be someone, very tall.
Who can see it. He just looks and goes, oh, crossbow right there.
Right.
Pulls it. Opens it up. It's a crossbow. Probably not expecting a crossbow. Then they pull up a YouTube video on their phone. How to assemble this crossbow.
Yeah.
And you hear all the and in that time, you and your wife are just deep ambient sleep.
Yes.
Like
deep sleep.
Deep sleep.
And then comes into the bedroom. And the first thing I would do is I'd be looking at the crossbow and the person wielding it and probably noticing that they've missed a step in the assembly. And I'd be saying
one
that.
of those ones you have to step on and pull up? Or
yeah. I think it's a very complicated, there's like a ratchet.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, crossbows were always complicated. They were not, that's why we don't still have them around in general. They very quickly were like, this isn't worth it.
There was a rash of drive-by crossbow.
Muskets also didn't last very long. You better stand there for 20 minutes while I get this reloaded. Yeah, these are not the weapons that.
I'm
but
going to
yes,
empty this powder into this. Yeah.
But I can guarantee my wife would not let me have any style of crossbow assembled or unassembled in the house. There's
Yeah.
one of those
Well, so you're sort of saying my wife is you get it. You get it. Maybe I was wrong. I was having fun with the whole thing, as I do, mocking her.
First mistake as a husband.
Yep. Robbing her of her agency, and I was wrong. I admit now that I was wrong.
Okay, good for
But we also have a fully functioning World War II landmine in the.
It's armed.
And I just thought someone would go to that first. Of course, it's armed, dummy.
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
not going to buy a dud
My bad.
online.
Yeah.
That thing cost me $600.
Now that I'm with, because that's fully armed. It's ready to go.
I'm always amazed at people that, and I think it's a big thing here in LA is people that have a lot of weapons in the house, and I always think that just doesn't go well. That never is. It doesn't seem like a good idea.
I mean, people forget that California is basically like Texas with gay people. You know what I mean? Like it's not really this sort of like bright blue whatever. Most of the state is Texas, so there's a lot of guns here.
Right.
There's a lot of guns. We just sort of have different laws, but that doesn't mean we don't have the number of guns. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're just, but Joel would give me, he gave me, I think were you there, Adam? He gave me a mace, like a modern interpretation of a knight's mace. So it's not the big spiky ball, but it was this sort of steampunk mace that someone's making in their basement and selling them online.
So like the kind of mace somebody would pitch on Shark Tank.
Exactly. And
I have updated the mace.
Right. And two of the sharks would be interested.
Yeah.
Others,
Mr. Wonderful's definitely in.
Mr. Wonderful would be like, I'm in, but we're doing it my way.
Yeah. You licensed the mace. Mark Cuban, the Dallas Mavericks, we don't have a mace in our team store.
I have to say, Mark Cuban is always the one saying, for that reason, I'm out. He always says it almost immediately. Almost immediately. He rarely gets involved. And I'd like this to be a deep dive on Shark Tank.
I don't watch Shark Tank.
I did have a period of time where I was like, that was the one show I watched. So I could have done it. I could do a deep dive on Shark. That was the only show I watched on TV.
Should I quickly explain, because maybe it hasn't come up yet in the podcast, that Sona showed up today. She has lost her voice. She was at an all-night rave.
I went to a rave.
And this is her real voice right now.
Did you
and
really?
And I just wanted.
I raved it.
In case people don't know, like they're listening to this interview with this very funny guest.
I wore a candy necklace.
And I was, and at one point you were saying like, I'm not sure I should come in, and I was praying that you would come in because it sounds like you're at the bottom of a very deep hole.
I know, it's awful. I felt bad coming in because it is distracting. I'm a very loud person.
No, I know. And I'm also mad at you a little bit too. So
what
we have beef.
What we have beef?
We have beef. And
let's hear it. Invite you to the rave.
No, that's the second beef. We have two beef. We have double beef.
Double beef. Two patties.
Wow. 2 patties of beef.
Oh my God.
Our books came out on the same day.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I remember that because I saw your name on the New York Times bestseller list too, right next to mine.
Yeah.
Except yours stayed there longer.
Yeah, that's why the beef is not as hot as it would have been.
Yeah.
But I did notice, I was like, oh, well, excuse me, competing on this weird, obscure list that doesn't make any sense.
I know.
Random assortment of lists written by people who might be celebrities.
Matt, there are 4 people at this table. Uh-huh. 2 of them are talking about the day that they were on the New York Times bestseller list.
Yeah.
And you and I don't know what's happening.
No, but
we don't experience that.
No, we don't. But we know our World War II mines, you know?
Okay, yeah, that's the same.
It was a contact mine.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was that a New York Times bestseller rave last night? Then I will be mad.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
yeah.
Come on.
All their favorite members on the list were invited.
The guy who wrote The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Yep.
He was
yeah.
tearing it up.
Was it the atomic? Yeah.
He didn't give a fuck.
I just love listening to her like this. Is there any way, and I don't want this to sound in any way insensitive, but can we do something to you surgically so you always sound like this? This is fantastic.
This is no, I don't.
I mean, they could. I mean,
don't you? Yes, they could.
You shouldn't, but yes, you could. That is a thing that could. Yeah.
Well, thank you, doctor.
It's like, you could. It's like Jurassic Park. You can do it. Should you do it? Is the second
exactly.
question.
It's the first time I've seen you kind of vulnerable. It's nice. Yeah.
It's nice. I hate it so much.
It's like a pirate who's now in a tiny little canoe.
Yes.
You know, you're used to the pirate being like, "Arr!" and they've got lots of men with cutlasses, and you're scared. And now you've got this little canoe and a little pea shooter.
The hell?
I'm sorry, that's what you are now.
Oh my God,
Well, she's screaming right now.
No one's afraid of you.
Screaming.
Yeah.
It was like General Patton took a hit off a helium balloon or something, you know?
The trick is not to die for your country.
Anyway,
It's to get the other son of a bitch to die for his country.
that's what else is going on with you?
Yes. I always bonded with you over TV. We just love to watch a lot of television. We grew up watching a lot of television. It infected us early. I think it's where probably we got a lot of our sense of humor. But you watch a lot of YouTube.
Oh,
That is
yes.
something I don't do nearly as much.
How did you find that out? Yes, I do watch a lot
I
of YouTube.
did find it out.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah,
I'm-
yeah.
So what is it? What do you like to watch on YouTube that you're not getting on television? Like, what's YouTube giving you that? And that's not challenging because I just want to know, like, should I be watching more YouTube?
I mean, there's a phenomenon called slow radio, which is like radio where not much is happening. YouTube is like slow TV, so it doesn't have to be a lot happening, but it just keeps sort of happening in front of you, and it can help you settle your brain, I feel like sometimes. So just not like in an era where every TV show you turn on, it's like, well, the last episode, you got to like where the sopranification of television,
you need to know this much.
Yeah. Like I'm out. I have 3 kids. I'm busy. I can't do all that. Last night I watched a guy, Dr. Connor, he's from the UK and somewhere, and he cleaned out somebody's impacted ear.
Oh. and okay.
And he's got a British accent, so it's very like light and entertaining.
You missed the rave for that?
Yeah, I missed the rave for that. Yeah. Well, it was a really impacted ear.
He couldn't
really
come.
Impacted.
Okay.
He was really
I
impacted.
couldn't come. He was.
So I started with. I used to watch. I still do. Dr. Pimple Popper. Everybody knows Dr. Pimple Popper. And then I sort of moved to ears. And
The
then
gateway.
Yeah, the gateway to ear. Yeah. So last night, as
so you're an ear, nose, and throat man.
I'm an ear, nose, and throat man. Yeah. But and then there's just a lot
I'm
of
a breast guy, and you're an ear, nose, and throat man.
So, and then there's a lot of people. There's a whole generation of young people growing up who don't actually even want to be on TV. So they're actually spending time and effort to make things that are very good, that should be on TV maybe, but these people didn't grow up in a TV generation. So they're just like I watched a 4-hour video about plagiarism on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like 4 hours just about plagiarism as it happens on YouTube by a guy named H Bomber Guy. And I didn't know I was going to watch all 4 hours of it. I was like, let's see what happens. And then it's like 3 a.m. I'm like holding my phone. Like, I got to see how this ends. Does he solve the case? So they're called video essays. And so there's like FD Signifier, H Bomber Guy. I just discovered Lindsay Ellis. Like there's all these people who are making these basically documentaries, but out of their homes on YouTube. And then you could, and so it's better. I find it to be more entertaining than what's on TV generally.
And what about like cooking shows? Do you ever do cooking shows?
Yeah, who's the guy? Binging with Babish is good because he takes shit. You would like this. He takes food that has been on television. Like, for example, on The Simpsons, they make something and he makes it in real life. And so you get to see like the food that has been a part of TV shows that he then creates.
I could see that for most any other TV show, but Simpsons is a cartoon, so I don't know how they're recreating. I mean, like if someone goes to Moe's and orders something,
like I think like the sandwich, the famous like the big sandwich that Homer or he makes what he thinks is his version of that. There's just a variety of things on YouTube, and then like for example, like my daughter wanted to learn how to ride a bike, and I don't know how to teach a kid how to ride a bike, and so we were at the park. And she's like, "I want to learn today." She's very insistent,
right?
And so I Googled easy way to teach kid to ride bike on YouTube, and up tops this video of this guy who's like, here's how you teach your kid how to ride a bike in 5 minutes, and it worked in about 7 minutes.
That's fantastic.
So it's a font of. I feel like YouTube gets disrespected because we think we know. What
I think there's a certain thing that's perfect, and that's a perfect application for YouTube. The ways that I use YouTube are mostly for guitar. Like there'll be a song that I hear and I really want to hear it, and all I have to do is push in, how do I play that song on the guitar? And there are 9 people there.
Mm-hmm.
2 are always from England. I don't know why. And they're in their basement and they're showing me how to do it. And they're being very patient. Yeah. And I really connect with some of these people. And I think that's a fantastic use of it. I think when people are going on YouTube to learn how to defend themselves legally in a court of law or remove a cornea, that's where it's a problem.
Well, yeah, that happened to me. I shouldn't have removed that cornea, but fair.
Then you went on YouTube,
Totally
how to
fair.
put it back.
How to put a cornea
How
back
do I
in 5 minutes because I don't have a lot of time. How do I reattach this cornea? So yeah, but I think there's just a lot of things happening on YouTube. Like, I mean, I watched this show on YouTube. Like, I don't listen to the podcast, and what happened? This is why I sent you that email, because once you sort of go down a hole, it suddenly takes you down. I was like, I didn't know Conan was this good of an interviewer.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
You've been interviewed by him.
Yeah.
I know, but I didn't know.
Since 1993.
Yeah. I just like, he's really good at talking to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is it's not just confined to this studio, or it's pretty much anywhere I go in the world, I end up talking to people for a really long time in life. That's
that happens to me too. People,
I can tell that you're like me, and that I'm not waiting for the lights and the cameras or whatever. I will be really having a long conversation with somebody at a gas station, and we will really, I feel like, bond in some way, and then I can tell they want to go. So it started with, "Hey, aren't you Conan O'Brien? I enjoy your work." Ends with them saying, "I gotta go."
Yeah, and maybe you don't have a landmine in your house, Conan. But I will see you later. But I think I agree with your wife on that. But
yeah, she would know. She would listen to it. So, and life is good?
Not really.
What? No. Here's the thing. I overheard. I'm coming down the stairs because I hear you talking to Andy Richter, who's out there hanging out, taking food from the kitchen.
It looked like a co-working space
and selling it online. And and I remembered I think he just said, as I was coming down the stairs, he said, "How's it going?" And you said,
I did the thing where you answered honestly, which you're not supposed to do. You're like, I forget sometimes that you're supposed to be like, it's great. And it's not bad, but
not in that voice.
No, well, that's how you know it's not great. Everything's fine. Thanks for asking. I feel really great about all my life choices and the state of the world. It's really growing great.
I have no issues.
I have nothing. I got 3 kids. I'm perfect number of kids to have. I got a 12-year-old, and a 9-year-old, and a 5-year-old. Those ages are all awesome. Yeah, everything's great. Nothing going wrong. Mom's 86. Things are perfect. Yes, life. And I picked the right business to be in. Show business.
Yay.
Like, I've made a lot of good choices. Yeah. No, so things are good.
I get the sense, correct me if I'm wrong, you like some chaos.
Oh, no.
No. You like, I feel like, because you always have a bunch of projects. It always feels to me like you have a bunch of things.
Too many things
going on at the same time, and you must be drawn to that. I get very phobic. Mm-hmm. People want me to be thinking about more than one thing at a time, and I visibly tense up because I just want to think about one thing at a time. And I feel like you like to put yourself in a position where, okay, I'm doing this show for ABC, but I'm doing this special for CNN, but I'm also doing this, and I'm also doing that, and then I'm building a kiln to make some pies.
Yeah. Well, and then I got to finish that ear impact video. Yeah. I mean, I think my problem is that I'm just curious about a lot of things. So I definitely do tend to overload myself with like, I can do this and I can do that. And then also, again, show business, you can't be like, I'm going to do one project because that's going to be the one that is going to pay my bills. So you're like, I probably should start all 4 of these things and see what happens. And then I look up and be like, oh my God, like there's too many things. Yeah. So, but I am, unfortunately, as an only child, curious about a lot of things, can sort of talk myself into any idea, and often attracted to ideas that are like, that later I'm like, whose idea was this? And my wife's like, you were the one who decided to do a 4-hour documentary about Bill Cosby. I'm like, oh, that's right. It was me.
Right.
That never gets a laugh.
It used to.
Yeah. So yeah, I find myself going down deep holes that I don't realize how deep and dark they're going to be or how thick they're going to be until I'm sort of like halfway through. And then, if you this is what I do. I get in those situations, and halfway through I throw a hissy fit. And no one says hissy fit enough, and I think we need to bring it back because it's a very masculine way to throw a fit. And I throw I call him a hisso fit to make it more nice.
I just
a hissy fit.
I get saying like, who made this call? Who decided? And they invariably say it was you. And it's usually my wife. And then we get into a fight, and I start assembling the crossbow so I can menace her.
And
with
2 hours later, it's in more pieces than when you started.
I know. And I have an arrow sticking out of my head, Steve Martin, 1977 style.
Yeah, I mean, I have that same thing. Like, who agreed to this? And then somebody will show me an email where it's like, you said I will do this. And like, oh yeah, no, it just I mean, capitalism makes you make funny choices to feed your children. So yeah, it's just I definitely am like interested in a lot of things, and also happen to be in a business where you kind of have to be interested in a lot of things unless you get unless you somehow find the one job. And I don't have the one job, so I have to sort of and I also just grew up in a way that I was I was like you as being a stand-up comic and who's doing I have to make my own gravy, like the dog food commercial. Like I can't wait for somebody else to go, you're the guy. I sort of know where I exist in this business, thankfully. So I'm not going to get the call where it's like, we figured out who the next Marvel hero is. It's you. It's not going to happen. So I just know that I have to sort of do my own thing. Yeah.
Also the training involved and the dieting.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't done it.
Oh, really?
That's the reason.
Only reason.
Yeah. Every day they call. Are you ready? Are you ready?
What are they offering you? What role?
Now let him pick. You can have your pick.
Well, apparently Captain Marvel had a. Is there a Captain Marvel?
Yeah, but it's a woman.
It's a woman.
Yeah. Well, she has a great grandmother. And I could play her.
Grandma
with a prominent eye vein and thin lips. So, but also I had to get in kick-ass shape for that.
Oh boy!
No, I just
is this kick-ass shape?
Oh,
yeah.
I just didn't know. I just don't know. I don't know.
Clearly, you took your glasses off. And you can't see. You're sitting opposite an incredible male specimen.
I'm sure. I just didn't know.
You didn't know.
I was just making sure that I could judge what you think kick-ass shape is.
There's waves of testosterone coming off my body right now, right, Sona?
No, there isn't at all.
She's like, there's not a wave.
I think it's your body deflecting testosterone.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
It's testosterone trying
Repellent.
to. Yeah.
Testosterone is passing through your body.
If there's any testosterone in the air, my body repels it immediately.
Which might be the best thing about this podcast. Don't tell Conan I said that. But that I'm a big fan of that Jack White song.
Oh, yeah.
Technically, that's a White Stripes song.
I'm not sure. Yeah, it probably is.
I'm going to say if only we had little devices in our pockets where we could look that up. I'm a fan of the White Stripes and the Jack White and the Conan O'Brien.
Yeah.
He might need more friends.
That's why he started the podcast.
That's what it says. That's a way in.
Yeah, it is a way in.
It's just a way in.
But the premise was that he has these friends that he sees in Hollywood friends that he sees in a professional setting, but rarely does he socialize with them outside of the professional setting. Like rarely does he get dinner with them, hang out in a real social way. But I think you're an exception to the sort of premise of the show.
You know what? You might be right. And it's, as you say it, I actually don't know. I feel like he's more social than does he? I feel like he gets out more often than we. He's very well liked.
He is.
And I've been to his home and when he's had people over and people love him. I think it's a gimmick.
Yeah, it's a gimmick.
I think it is a gimmick.
But the theme song works really well with the.
But the theme song reads really well, and you got to come up with something. Here's the point. This is I've listened to the show when he's had very, very special guests, people that mean a lot to him, and he just does away with the intro.
Yeah, like a former first lady, Michelle Obama, something like that. He won't do the intro.
Did he? And even speaking of Mr. White, did he do an intro on White? I think he just went right into the show.
That's possible too.
It's possible.
Yeah. Oh, it's special guests, and also if it goes really long, sometimes we'll say let's just skip the intro altogether.
Okay, I did one of those two things. I'm one of those two. I went long, but I'm not. So yeah, because I asked him about the intro. That's like a 10-minute intro.
Yeah, usually 5 to 10 minutes.
5-10 minutes.
Yeah, but you are a really special guest. You were one of the first guests. I think you came on a few months after the show launched.
Okay.
And there has been a clamoring to get you back, and it took a long time.
It's so nice to hear. I mean, genuinely, none of it makes sense to me.
It's true. I think you were the first guest to come in and sort of like break the rules a little bit and create a little bit of chaos.
But here's the deal. I was thinking today that as much as I've enjoyed the podcast, the preamble, I've decided that perhaps there should be a preamble before the intro to the intro.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is right now.
We have none of the actual hosts of the show.
That's my point.
I'm not really a part of the show either.
I know. So this is if this makes it on the, what do we call this?
On the podcast.
On the podcast. I was about to say it makes it on the air.
Yeah. Well, this will air on the radio
just an old person.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, because Gourley's not here.
He will receive
this. Gourley will receive this audio, and he'll have to figure out what to make of it.
And
what
really?
to do with it. Yeah.
So that's who we're right now.
Yeah, we're gonna send this to Matt Gourley.
This is like an audition.
Yeah.
I'm auditioning for something.
Yeah.
Oh,
so you can speak directly to Gourley.
Oh, okay. Hey, bud.
Hey, Tim.
There you go. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Oh, it's great to be here at a later date in a different place.
I appreciate you being here for me.
He is a super fan of yours too. He and I talk about
that.
That
doesn't make up for the fact that he's not here.
No, it doesn't.
No.
In fact, it makes it even a little more.
It's hurtful.
A little more hurtful.
Why isn't he here? Is it a budget thing?
Yeah, it's a budget
Is that what
thing.
Conan's having a meeting?
Yeah.
Conan had a meeting with Sirius. They wouldn't fly the other two out, huh?
They're coming out, but they're coming out Wednesday. We've got these shows at the end of the week.
That's right. And then that's the other thing he mentioned. Something about what's he doing at the Beacon?
Yeah, he's doing a live show, 2 live shows, Thursday and Friday night.
Really?
Live podcasts.
Who's it? Who's on the live podcast?
We can say it now because this will air after they happen, but Stephen Colbert and Tracy Morgan.
I bet that'll be good. I'm gonna guess.
Really
I'm gonna guess they went over really well.
I think we'll see, but I'm confident. They're good guests. They're home run guests.
That's good. Live guests at the Beacon, and they're gonna do the thing.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like this is not gonna go over.
Gourley might just cut it out completely.
You might have to cut it out completely because it feels like I should have to say something like an anecdote to O'Brien.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about O'Brien. First of all, I'll tell you my history of Conan O'Brien. Way back when in the 90s, when he was doing his show here in New York, I went on his show as a guest. He doesn't remember that. I barely remember it. I was so nervous. It was the most nerve-wracking thing. I remember going out there. I remember his lips moving, and then I was like, I just was like, okay, I'm going to continue with my story.
Was it one of your first late night
experiences? It was my very first late night talk show appearance. And it was so nerve-wracking. And I have to confess, I was such a fan, and am such a fan, of a great talk show and a great talk show appearance. And I was just, the whole thing was, I think I was almost late. It was like breaking out. I was nervous as all get out. It was like late 90s, not even that young. And I did not do another talk show for years after that, because I was like, nope, I'm not ready. And then, anyway, so then I think maybe it might have been close to 10 years before I went on his show out in LA. And I just had a ball.
It's crazy to hear because you seem like such a natural doing it. And so relaxed, actually, from a viewer's perspective. You seem so natural.
I appreciate you saying so. I tell you, the whole thing, everything about show business early on was just confusing and nerve-wracking and just like, just a nightmare. I remember the first and only time I went on Letterman. And it was like just a year or so before he retired, as I remember. And I remember being in my house and I was looking at great Letterman guests. Like I was looking at all these guests, just that thing of trying to remind myself like what makes him laugh, just trying to think about what makes a great appearance on Letterman. So I'm watching all the usuals, and my wife comes in and says, "What are you doing?" And I say, "Oh, I'm just watching clips from great Letterman guests." And she looks over my shoulder and she's like, "That's like Martin Short." And I was like, "Yeah, he's a really, And then that's like Bill Murray. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. She goes, what are you doing? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, when those people come on his show, he's super excited. She's like, he doesn't give a shit about you.
Oh, man.
Like he doesn't. This is true. It's turning into a Letterman story. Conan can't get enough of Letterman stories. He'll appreciate that. I'm starting this podcast with a Letterman story. And I realize she's so right. I realize I'm preparing, like I'm looking at these guys and what they're doing and how he's reacting. And then she's like, yeah, but she's totally right. So I think to myself, okay, she's got a point here, you know? So I Googled, I thought of an actor who was in a similar spot. This was, I think, first or second season of Justified. We'd just come out. I think we'd done a season. And so I looked up actors that I thought were more or less in my position, you know, at that time, or looked up them when they were at that position. Like John Hamm, God bless him, good dude, like right when Mad Men came out.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like that's a similar spot. I watched clips of those actors on Letterman, and he did not give a shit. And I was like, oh my God, she's so right, right? And
that was probably a little bit of a relief, though, to see.
I don't know if it was a relief, but it was certainly of value. What you don't prepare for, that first moment when he's just like, my next guest is so-and-so, and he has no idea who that person is, you know? You just immediately are going to the like, and I think maybe there was something similar like that when, you know, going on the talk show the first time, going on O'Brien, which was like, you know, you imagine you think of your anecdotes and they're funny and whatever, right. And then you just don't realize that first moment when you just like walk out there and it's like every show business experience I ever had when you're like, you know, I remember going on my first set and just like, what's all this colored tape on the ground? You know, like I just didn't know what any of those things were.
What do you think made it easier? Is it just the reps? Is it just doing it multiple times or getting more comfortable in your own skin as a actor and someone being interviewed?
There's something to be said about not giving a shit, you know, if you can get to yourself to a place where it's all just a joke. And then there's the other thing, which is don't tell Conan he's really good at what he does.
Yeah.
So he is exceptionally good at what he does. And he just makes it look easy. He carries you at times. He fills in areas and just makes it so smooth. I mean, so many times I realize it's like a sleight of hand. He makes me come off really well. Yeah, so he's really good, you know. He may not have a lot of friends, but he's gotten really good at what he does. And I think that's, if nothing else, that's the takeaway here.
Should we go to the intro?
Oh, now what I'd like to do is go from this intro to his intro.
Okay. All right, sounds great.
See you later, everybody.